Be Frank!
Welcome to Let's Be Frank, the weekly podcast that gives a quick take on U.S. stocks from the perspective of a value investor. I'm Brian Frank, a professional investor with over 20 years experience specializing in small and mid-cap value stocks. Every week, I'll cover what is working, what isn't working, and talk about the value we're finding on the hunting trail. Find out more at frankfunds.com. Now let's get to it. Today is Friday, July 17th, 2026, and we had an eventful week in the market. Momentum stocks led by memory companies declined significantly, followed by a 2% drop in the Nasdaq. As we have been talking about on this podcast, investors rotated heavily into value stocks while momentum melted down. That said, the largest ETF in the memory space took in billions in new assets as investors attempted to buy the dip. I think there will be violent swings from momentum to value as the market searches for direction, and hopefully the dip buyers have fundamental reasons backed by valuation. Otherwise, you could be adding more money to a stock destined to decline over 50%. This is how speculators end up losing more than their original 100% in a stock, throwing good money after bad. That said, it's a process, and momentum attempted a rally off the lows today, and it won't be the last time either. That brings me to what worked in value. With very little fundamental news in our portfolio this week, we still benefited significantly from the rotation from momentum to value. Our most beaten down names work the best, and I am still eager for earnings season to get going here so the newly rotated money can see how strong fundamentals are in some value names right now. What didn't work? The other side of the coin. High momentum stocks continued their violent decline this week. Stocks like Sandisk and Micron are 30% off their highs, and investors who piled in with leverage are reeling. Buying what has been working no longer works. I can't tell you a fair valuation on memory stocks because the AI build-out is so frenzied and the bottleneck in memory is so acute. I can tell you, however, that avoiding situations that are too difficult and putting my time into easier stock ideas has paid off in my career. Next up is on the hunting trail for value. The trail gets more difficult when value outperforms. Value investors are a strange breed who get nervous when their holdings go up. We don't let emotion and excitement influence an investing decision, and when our holdings appreciate, they are generally closer to being sold. My main sources of ideas this year, healthcare, defense contractors, and consumer staples all appreciated significantly. That makes it harder to find new ideas. Also, the companies that have declined have not fallen nearly far enough to meet a normal valuation criteria. Everything is changing rapidly, so there could be a better hunt in the coming weeks, but this one was a bust. Wrapping up, investors are trying to buy the dip in momentum. In my opinion, we should be skeptical of any rally now that leveraged investors are hurting and the AI trade has lost its feeling of invincibility. Value has been working very well, and with earnings season kicking into higher gear next week, I am eager to put some fundamental backing behind the outperformance. Thanks for listening.
Performance data quoted represents past performance and does not guarantee future results. The investment return and principal value of an investment will fluctuate so that an investor's shares, when redeemed, may be worth more or less than their original cost. Current performance may be lower or higher than the performance data quoted. You may obtain performance data current to the most recent month end by calling the Frank Value Fund at 1-888-217-5426 or visiting our website at frankfunds.com. Returns include reinvestment of any dividends and capital gain distributions. Non-FDIC insured, may lose value, no bank guarantee. The fund's investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses must be considered carefully before investing. The prospectus contains this and other important information about the fund, and it may be obtained by calling 1-888-217-5426. Please read it carefully before you invest or send money. This publication does not constitute an offer or solicitation of any transaction in any securities. Any recommendation contained herein may not be suitable for all investors. Information contained in this publication has been obtained from sources we believe to be reliable, but cannot be guaranteed. The information in this publication represents the opinions of the individual portfolio manager and is not intended to be a forecast of future events, a guarantee of future results, or investment advice. Also, please note that any discussion of the fund's holdings, the fund's performance, and the portfolio manager's views are as of the recording date and are subject to change without notice.